Welcome to the Gorgeous Guru podcast. I'm your host, Day, the Gorgeous Guru. On this podcast, I'll be sharing candid commentary, practical advice, and intuitive insights on life, love, current events, and everything in between. If you're craving real talk, inspiration, and soulful guidance, you're in the right place. So tune in, get comfortable, and get ready to be inspired. Hey y'all, hey, welcome on in. I hope that as you're listening to this, you are doing well. Today's topic is midlife crisis and clarity. So I'm going to be sharing how my own midlife crisis has led to clarity. And I know some of you listening are like, midlife crisis, girl, what are you talking about? I'll get into that. First, I have to share a message with you. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a psychic channeler. I receive messages from the divine. And I got a message recently that just felt like it fit in with this topic perfectly. I was watching a television show and one of the characters mentioned Angie Stone. And it took me a moment to realize that Angie is no longer with us, right? Like it took me a moment to remember that she had passed away not too long ago. And as I'm thinking that, Angie Stone's energy pops in and she's laughing and she says, see, look how life goes on after you pass away. She said, people will forget it. People will forget that you passed away. She said, look, you couldn't even remember that I passed away recently. And I was like, oh man, that's true. And I kind of felt bad. And she didn't want me to feel bad. The point of her message was, we need to live our lives and live them for ourselves. So the way she put it was, you see how you forgot that I was even passed on. She said, at some point that will be you too. She said, live your life, live for you. And I wanted to share that message because I know other people can benefit from it. So thank you, Miss Angie Stone, for sharing that with us. She says, live your life and live for you. So when I entered my 40s, y'all, I experienced what I like to call a reckoning. And this reckoning is like a period of deep reflection. So I started looking at my life and where I'm at currently and really considering if I'm happy with what I've created. Then I started looking back over my life and looking at the choices I made and the outcomes of those choices, right? Like my past actions and their consequences. And I started looking at these different choices and actions and wondering if I would have done things differently, would I be in a better spot now? I developed a bad case of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? I started imagining all of the different decisions I could have made to cultivate a better life. And what I acknowledged at that moment was that I was carrying around a lot of disappointment because of failed endeavors. And it brought up a lot of feelings of shame, regret, just a general dis-ease and disappointment. And overall, this reckoning forced me to face the fact that my life did not turn out the way I thought it would. And it dawned on me that I was going through a midlife crisis. The truth about midlife crises, y'all, is that they don't necessarily happen in your 50s. According to Johns Hopkins, life expectancy in the United States is on average about 78.6 years. And for men, it's actually a few years shy of that number. So in this case, midlife would actually be around 39 or 40 years old. And for some men, it would be lower than that. So I was right on time with my midlife crises. When I had my reckoning, I was absolutely right on time. So around the age of 40, I am considering the fact that I don't have children yet. And I really feel like this is what pushed me into that reckoning, right? Like now I'm thinking about the fact that I'm childless. I'm considering my biological clock and that time is ticking. And I start to get anxious about my chances of never becoming a mother. It's like I had to face the fact that I may never have children. And I had to decide if I was going to let that drive me crazy and make me completely miserable, or if I could be at peace with the potential of not being a mom. And at the time when I was going through this really took an emotional toll on me. It brought up feelings of deep sadness, regret, shame, remorse. And I really truly feel like this is what pushed me into that reckoning. So the truth is, I was in mourning. I absolutely was. And I feel like that's what the midlife crisis is. That's what the reckoning is. You kind of start looking back over your life, and there's a mourning period where you regret the dreams that didn't come to be. So I was mourning the life I thought I would have. So what I had to do was really face these uncomfortable feelings. And I did that with the help of my therapist, with spirit guides, and I had to make a decision. So I had a choice to make. I had to choose between being miserable or being at peace with the way things turned out. I had to make that choice. Ultimately, I chose peace. And I have to choose peace every day because sometimes the feelings resurface, right? Even as I was preparing for this episode, they came up. But it's my decision to be at peace with this life that I've cultivated for better or for worse. And it reminds me of Angie Stone's message. At some point, this ends. So what am I going to do with the time I have? I have to live this life and I have to live it for me. And I have to be at peace with the way things turned out. So if you're in the middle of a reckoning or a midlife crisis, I want you to be kind to yourself. Get the support you need and mourn if you need to, okay? I don't think we see the importance of mourning and releasing grief. So mourn if you must, and then choose peace and choose it as often as you need to. The thing about being a mother that I also recognized was that when I was younger, I really thought this part of my life would magically come together. I thought it would happen naturally. I thought I would meet the love of my life, we would get together, and we would produce a child. I really saw it as that simple. And it wasn't until later on I saw that it wasn't that simple. So if I could go back, I would really take my desire for motherhood more seriously and pursue it like a goal. Pursue it like I pursued my educational goals, my career goals, and things like that. And that's the advice I have for younger women listening. If you truly desire to be a mother, there's a need to prioritize motherhood just as you would prioritize other goals in your life. So that means get serious about this pursuit in your early childbearing years. And getting serious means only entertaining potential spouses that would make terrific husbands and fathers, and not letting people waste your time because your biological clock is ticking. And women have children, at older ages all the time now. That's not uncommon. But this is just my process, right? If I could go back, I would prioritize that area of my life. And I want to encourage the men as well. The same goes for you. Prioritize manifesting your desires. Don't just assume that they'll happen one day. So that's my story about how my midlife crisis led to clarity. And I promise I'm doing so much better, y'all. But I do have those moments where I have to choose peace, where I look at my life and I'm like, damn, this is not what I wanted to create, but I have to be at peace with what it is. And then I can do the things I need to do to change it. But I can't be miserable, throughout this life. And I love that Angie Stone came through and was like, hey, you have to live this life and you have to live it for you. So that's what I'll be doing. So each episode, I share gorgeous guru prompts, which are questions for reflection or journaling. So today's gorgeous guru prompts are, have you gone through or are you going through a reckoning, aka a midlife crisis? What past actions or missteps do you need to make peace with? What steps can you take to face these feelings and heal them? If you want to join the conversation, you can do so over on YouTube or Instagram at the Gorgeous Guru Podcast. Feel free to drop a comment. I love to read and respond to your comments. And if you're enjoying the podcast, become a monthly supporter of the show. All of your donations are a great help. You can sign up at thegorgeousgurupodcast.com. Thank you for joining me today. You could have spent this time doing anything, but you decided to spend it with me, and I'm grateful. I hope you'll join me next time. Peace.